Go.
What? What's up, everyone? My name is Stephen Michaels. I am with Phil Robertson and Willie. This is the Raiders Weekly. What's up, Phil? What's up, Willie?
What's going on?
Man, what's
Oh,
good out there, everybody? What's happening, boys?
Hey,
big game tonight, guys. Monday Night Football. The Raiders versus the Chiefs is a game the Raiders have to win. I mean, this is huge for the Raiders. Huge, huge game.
absolutely it is. This is critical to the season and a very critical juncture. A lot of folks will say that this is a must win, and it's not quite because it's early in the season, but it's pretty damn close. It's not. It's one of these games that you really wish that it hadn't come down to this, that they weren't 0-3 prior to this. They got a win over Denver, and a win tonight will help get them back, their season back on track, and keep them within a half game of first place. So that would be the best possible outcome. What do you think, Willie?
Well, let me say this. And first of all, guys, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this great production. I really appreciate it. Um, you're right, Phil. It is unfortunately a must win in week 5, not because of what the Raiders haven't done, but more so because of where we see the Chiefs and what they have done. Now, the Raiders have only played one full game of football all year long. There was a half of a game that they played in the opener. There was a half of a game that they played against the Cardinals. And then, of course, a half of a game against the Titans, and then the whole game against the Broncos. So what I have seen from the Raiders is everything to me is there in place, barring any, terrific or any catastrophe type injuries. I mean, Perriman is back. I understand. I think Sin is back as well too. That's going to be a help, but it's unfortunate that the schedule played out the way that it did. That it's the Kansas City Chiefs in week 5 at Arrowhead that is making this more of a must win than any other particular game that we would probably think so at this point in time of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a must-win game. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The Raiders have to win this game. They're coming off a big victory against Denver. They already lost against the Chargers. If they beat the Chiefs, they go into the bye with pretty much a clean slate here. I mean, they pretty much can turn around their entire season with a victory tonight. This is a big game. I mean, this is a big, big game. You lose this game, it's going to be very hard to catch up. It really is. So I just think the Raiders have to go in there and do something that Derek Carr has only done one time since 2014 and win an Arrowhead.
Ugh.
Yeah. Now, it's not a great hole to be in, but I will say that the one true benefit to the way that this schedule is played out is that the majority of the games that they would have lost would have been to division opponents who they get to play again. And that would be pretty much their only saving grace. The loss to Tennessee was one that will only sting in terms of conference record. And it's not a great loss to have. They needed to win that game as well, but it's not over. It's not over, but it sure makes it much harder to overcome.
Another thing is too, I mean, let's be honest here. This team's played like dog shit. I mean, they lost against the Arizona Cardinals. They've had one win. This team has not put together 4 quarters of football yet. So they have to play, I mean, lights out tonight to even stand a chance, or they're going to get blown out of the water.
And let's hope that this game, unlike when we visited Arrowhead the last time, the first play of the freaking game, Josh Jacobs fumbles on the pitch play, and then they take it to the house for 6. And it was just all she wrote from there.
Well, that's the Raiders, Willie. I mean, we that's. Are you new here?
No, but what I am saying, and Phil and I talked about this in a meeting the other day. I don't care at this point what it takes or how we do it. I just want to win. I don't care if the lights go out in Arrowhead Stadium and the Kansas City Chiefs start running into each other and give each other a bunch of concussions. I don't care. I just want to win.
Me too. And
That was
I'm with
beautiful.
you.
That was
Only about winning. That's
yeah.
the thing. Is, I'm not with this whole what's that thing they say, Phil? The Raider. No, the Raider fans, they post that thing. Win.
Oh,
What is
I'd
it?
rather lose with Carr than win with somebody else.
No, it's the other one. Win, lose, or
Win,
tie.
lose or tie. I'm a Raider till I die. I mean,
Yeah. I
that
don't
goes
like
with
that. I don't like that. I listen, that lose and tie stuff, right? I'm not with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm only about winning. So Derek Carr has to go into Arrowhead, right? And he has to use his legs like he did last week. He can do that every week if he wants to. He has to do that. Josh Jacobs has to run the ball hard.
Did I lose
I
everybody?
really think the Raiders can throw off Kansas City. So, I mean, if they can run the ball, it will set up the play action, and then they'll be fine.
And as for as much of the see, when you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, it brings this, all you remember is the bad. This Kansas City Chiefs defense is every bit as exploitable as it has been. They have to commit to the running game. That's what the team's identity is. And when the sooner they realize it and come to grips with it, is the sooner they'll start winning more football games. Is that you're going to have to run the football and play defense. The Colts just beat the Chiefs, for crying out loud. Have you seen the Colts? The Colts are awful.
Terrible.
Horrible. The Colts suck.
But
I'll say it straight up.
That's the good news, though, about this season is pretty much every NFL team is unstable. Like, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, you can see the Texans win yesterday. You just never know what you are going to get every week. So, and I hope tonight the Raiders show up in Kansas City in a game where, they're at home. It's Monday night. They're expected to win, right? Kansas City. So tonight is like a good example of a game that everyone just expects Kansas City to win, and the Raiders go out there and they beat them. Yeah, and that's what the Raiders need. They need something like that. That will give them so much momentum going into the bye, and I just think it would help them tremendously if they can get this victory tonight.
So let me ask you guys a question, because we all remember the last time the Raiders went into Kansas City and got a dub. It was when we just kept going over the top. And unfortunately, Henry Ruggs III is not there anymore to take the top off the defense. But let me ask y'all this in terms of the roster buildup. The way that the Raiders are built right now, as opposed to that game in 2000 and whatever it was, do we think that this Raider team, at least on paper, is more talented than that Raider team? And then vice versa. Do we think that this Chiefs team on paper may be worse than that Chiefs team that we went in there and beat?
Well, this team's obviously better on paper. My biggest thing is the coaching.
Yes.
The coaching as good as it was? You know what I mean? Because so far this season, Josh McDaniels, he's a little shaky for me. He really is.
Scoring.
Yeah, and but on paper, we have Devontae Adams now.
10th in scoring.
Yeah, whatever. But what do they do in the red zone? That's the problem.
Now, who's now? That's not on coaching. Now, who's been terrible in the red zone for the last 9 years? Before,
what about third downs?
He was third downs were bad last year too.
Listen,
third downs were very bad last year. In fact, I could go back and chart it. Third downs were in the low 30s last year too.
The Raiders made a play. The Raiders won 10 games with a special teams coach, Phil.
How did they do it?
How did they do it? They executed.
No, they ran the football and they played defense, and they overcame a quarterback who was averaging 1 touchdown and 2 turnovers a game for the last 9 weeks of the season. They did it by running the football, feeding Josh Jacobs down a 4-game stretch that took them into the playoffs, which saw him accumulate almost 90 yards a game at minimum. That's how they won down the stretch. It had nothing.
They also did it because they had some pressure on the quarterback on defense. Right now, there is no pressure on the quarterback. We got one guy in Max Crosby, which, by the way, it's up in the air right now if he's even gonna. I don't know about this baby situation. So, I really don't. Just to let you guys know. I'm going to know pretty soon, though. But anyways, so Max Crosby's been the only one there. Chandler Jones has been a ghost. Last year, they had Yannick Ngakoue and they had Max Crosby. At least they were getting out. There was some pressure. You know what I mean? There was something coming to the quarterback. This year, it just seems like the guy has all day to throw unless Max Crosby's going to get after him. Chandler Jones tonight, he has to make his debut tonight. Tonight would be a perfect game against Mahomes. You know what I mean? To pinch the edges, get after Mahomes, keep him inside the box, and just don't let him run around. Like they let Kyle Murray run around for 20 seconds. That is insane. 20 seconds the guy ran around the field. Left to right. You can't do that.
Yeah. Here's a couple of concerns. The Raiders are last in the league in team sacks with 5. The Raiders allow a team fifth worst in the NFL, 69% completions for opposing quarterbacks. Who are we playing in this game tonight? Patrick Mahomes? So Chandler Jones, we need you to crawl off the milk carton, okay? Set yourself at the table, get yourself a spoon and a big bowl, and have yourself a big helping of some Kansas City Chiefs offensive line, even though they may be one of the best in the NFL. This is the reason why we traded for you. And then this is the reason why we signed you to an extension. Can you please crawl off the milk carton and get there and be seen?
It would help.
It
most definitely would help.
And that's why he got benched for Clinton Farrell. I mean, honestly, if you're not doing anything, and that now the Raiders are paying a dude who doesn't do anything.
An awful lot of money, and then they have to continue paying a dude who's not doing anything an awful lot of money. Now, looking at the scheme, I will say that that's what he was asked to do, but I hate that. Now, when you in terms of the completion percentages, dude, they're playing soft cover. They're playing a soft cover 3 the majority of the time instead of they. So what's frustrating to me, and more along the lines of I'm waiting to see what happens once everybody gets back, is that all your man cover corners are the guys who are hurt. And so are they playing this defense because that's who they have available? Because they've been missing their starting free safety. They've been missing one of their starting corners. They've been missing their slot corner. So they've had to adjust and play defense with basically their backups, because that's what that's what they're playing with.
But Phil, the whole thing is this team is a they're supposed to they have Nick Rocky Ya-Sin. They're supposed to be bump and run.
Mm-hmm. He's hurt. That's what I'm saying, is that guy who was that's the way that this was set up. They were supposed to be able to do bump and run, but they weren't. They were playing soft, and even when he was out there, they were still playing soft. So I don't understand. Like we got the speed, we got everything in store to play man coverage, play bump and run, and then they just refuse to do it.
They're playing like 6 yards off the line of scrimmage.
7, but who's counting?
I think I was, and I gave up. But
yeah. and in this matchup, there is no Tyreek Hill. Does Juju Smith-Schuster really scare you?
No.
As far as being a deep threat, I would say not. Even with the speed that McCole Hardman has, does he really scare you?
No.
Going deep. So if this is the case, and obviously we're just fans, right? We watch it and we see it from the fan perspective on TV. And then if you have that app on NFL.com or whatever it is, you can see it from there. But if we can see it, even from a television perspective, tell me why in the hell the coaches can't see it.
They can see it. It's just they're not executing. You know what I mean? Like that's the only way to put it. But hopefully tonight, guys, they can put it all together because tonight, like I said, it's a big game. And if they can get after Mahomes and they can run the football, I think the Raiders stand a chance to win this game. What do you guys think? You think they stand a chance?
I think that that's the absolute key to this football game. If they, in order for them to win this football game, the fact of the matter is that they have to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. They're not going to win this game if they lose the time of possession battle to the Chiefs. What that means, how they choose to go about that, if they dink and dunk down the field, run nothing but crossing routes and power football up the middle, that'll be their best opportunity to win. But if they come out here and try to light up the scoreboard, it troubles me. Derek is supposed to be the king of fourth quarter comebacks, but you fell behind for a reason. And if he's turning the ball over and putting it on the ground, then we're doomed.
All right, so let's do this. Let's do our predictions.
You forgot Willie.
I'm going to him now. And so relax there, Phil. All right, so we're going to do this right now. Let's do our predictions. We're going, Willie, what's your prediction right now for tonight?
Well, hold on. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to channel my inner Cat Williams self. All right. Tonight, we're getting effed up. And that will be the case. That will be the case if everything that would be the case if everything that Phil says happens. Now, with that being said, I think we found something last week in the running game. I love the balance that we had from a run pass perspective. That is in total need for tonight and really going forward for the rest of the year. We cannot be enamored by having one of the top 3 tight ends in the game, the best receiver in the game, and just force feed the ball to them just because we have them. The strength of this team will continue to be the offensive line in terms of being able to run block and pave the way for Josh Jacobs and Abdullah and White and whoever else they throw back there. Hell, they can throw back there Marcus Allen if they want to. The ball needs to be ran at least 30 times in order for us to have a decent chance to win this game. So my prediction is this. I have 2 predictions. I have one as a fan and one as an analyst. No, I'm not going to do that. I think the Raiders, I think the Raiders are going to get it done. Something is telling me that the Raiders are going to get it done in a close game, and it's going to be 28-24.
Wow. So you're taking the Raiders. You're on the Raider train. You're taking the upset.
Yes.
Willie's taking the upset. Phil, it comes down to you. What are you taking, bud?
What am I taking? I'm all right with being that guy. I'm taking a loss by 20.
Oh gosh.
Wow. Did you hear him, Willie? Did you hear him?
20? I believe that this is going to continue to be Derek's house of horrors. And that the team will be chugging along, going well, and that one thing will happen, and then the wheels will fall off.
Wow, I can't believe you, Phil. I can't believe you. Listen, here's the deal. Here's what's going to happen tonight, okay? Josh Jacobs is going to run for 140 yards, first of all. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're really good against the run, right? But no one commits to the run. The Raiders tonight will commit to the run. Josh Jacobs is going to run the ball hard. Zamir White is going to get more carries tonight. I think the Raiders are going to run the ball. They're going to dictate the tone of this game. And the Raiders will end up winning this game in a low-scoring affair because Patrick Mahomes is going to be on the sidelines most of this game. The Raiders escape Arrowhead, and Derek Carr gets his first real victory. Because let's remember, Derek Carr's only victory in Arrowhead was during the pandemic. There was 20 fans there. So he never really won in Arrowhead. You know, the loud Arrowhead crowd. Never really done it. Tonight, Derek Carr finally does it. The Raiders win 20-13.
I love it.
Yep, that's going to happen, Phil. It's going to happen.
I would love it too. I don't care. Like Willie said, and me and Willie talked about, and you know, we have always said, just win. I don't give a damn how. I don't give a damn where. I don't care how many people were there to see it. I don't give a fuck about what they got to do to get it. If you got to maim, if you have to injure, a cheap shot, a clothesline, you know what I'm saying? Cheat again. See rule number 1, cheating is encouraged.
Yes, it's very encouraged.
Said
I'm also
whatever
not a
it
fan of this
takes.
game on Monday night. As you know, it's interfering with my professional wrestling. But
Yeah,
listen,
mine too.
I know. I don't know why they just don't move this to wrestling should like move to Tuesday if the Raiders are on Monday. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah. So I really think though the Raiders will be able to run the ball against Kansas City, and if Josh Jacobs does have a big day running, a big night running, I think that will set the. Darren Waller has to step up in this game, by the way, too.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's got to start catching the football. When it's right in your hands, you got to catch the football. So, I mean, this guy's dropped too many easy passes this season.
He's dropped one.
He dropped more than one, Phil. He's dropped way more than one.
He's on record as only dropping one.
Well, he's dropped more than one. I've watched the football games. This guy's dropped more than one pass.
You watching the wrong thing.
No, I'm not watching
the NFL. The NFL has recorded it as one drop.
Well, we just like we don't know what a catch is. Now we don't know what a drop is.
And ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Man. Man, catching a football and putting one on the turf has never been so difficult to call.
I remember the first game of the season, he dropped one right in the middle of the field.
I remember last year when I was in Las Vegas and personally watched him put 5 on the deck, and they said, "Oh, he only dropped one." I was like, I watched him drop 5 right in front of me.
Speaking of tight ends, the Raiders have to contain Kelsey tonight. You're not gonna be able to stop him completely, obviously, but we know every game they play against Kansas City, this guy, destroys them. They're gonna have a tough time with them, and that's why they got to keep that offense the Kansas City offense on the sidelines. If they can do that, the Raiders can win this game.
They got to have. I think they need to have Chandler Jones maybe shadow him and across the field and give him a bump at the line of scrimmage and throw him off, and then have Hobbs waiting for him on the other side or something. But they need to play matchup football here, and I pray to the Lord of football gods above high that they do not put Jonathan Abram on Travis Kelce.
Oh my gosh.
That would be bad.
Stop it. They're not that stupid.
Well, who are we?
Well, considering Patrick Graham almost beat the Chiefs with the Giants defense, I got to believe that he knows something that we don't know and is able to put his guys in a better position to make plays. But I just, I said, I pray they don't put Jonathan Abram on Travis Kelce.
Yo. Listen, guys. Jonathan Abrams going to be on Travis Kelce tonight.
Oh gosh! So, come on. So in a league where we have seen the Cowboys get throttled by Tampa Bay in the opening game, and they lose their quarterback for 5-6 weeks, and their backup has come in and won 4 in a row, where everybody wrote them off. In a season where we've seen that, where everybody is writing the Raiders off in this game tonight, now it's a time for the karma that is Tuckgate, Tuck Rule, hashtag, whatever, comes back, and the Raiders show up and do our thing and get this dub in KC tonight. That's all. I'm not saying anything else for the rest of the show.
That's it. That's all we want here at the Raiders Weekly is just to win. That's the only thing everyone cares about. That's the thing the Raiders have to do. Okay, Phil, why don't you take us out of here?
All right. So with that being said, we thank you all for tuning in and getting a chance to listen to this fabulous Raiders versus Chiefs preview show. That's Will, the fabulous Willie, Steven, the Raiders Daily, and myself, Mr. Unfiltered Truth. And we all thank you for tuning in. This is the Raiders Weekly for Silver and Black Media, and we are out.